The alliance that Noam Chomsky built with Yoko Ono over the years is worth prying open to comprehend, because failure to do so has consequences that nobody should want. They allege that they're pursuing absolute truth. It's important to understand that what this means to them is to subject children to cruel, degrading, vile forms of exposure to toxic degradation, to vilify the mind and pollute the soul of children. They accuse, in turn, people who don't want that of sanitizing. And they would say, to avoid blame for the historic entity of corporatism and imperialism coming from the United States, you sanitize what you really are. I suppose it's sanitizing to love Martin Luther King. He is, after all, what we really are, part of it. So it's this absolute honesty is fundamentally dishonest. What they want is the power and the magic license to abuse seniors. If you go digging into my corpus, I invite you to use what you find there and recycle it responsibly under fair use principles. I believe that if you're honest, you will see why I should be paid for my work and my injuries. You're dealing with an elaborate scam. But someone will say this is so heavy, it needs to be sanitized, which is in some ways true. The reason it's so heavy is because the psychotic sadism of Ringo Starr, Yoko Ono, and Frank Zappa all at once came in to pummel me on behalf of Gail Burston with no explanation, which is so over the top that people who loved JFK, RFK, and Martin Luther King have been forced, apparently, somehow, to ignore the Texas school book. And its royalist, rotten British Labour, Workers' Party people are saying it's because the money and the narrative belongs to whoever Donald Toon arbitrarily decides to endow with it as a magic lottery ticket or something. I mean, it's peculiar censorship and refusal to pay somebody for their private industry. I objected to people not being fully informed about it and invested myself in it. And a couple of people thanked me. They've tried to make it a dirty word to say thank you. I don't, the particulars are so fiendish and driven that nobody gets around saying, why didn't Gail Burston get arrested? What kind of thing was the whole is greater than the sum of its parts to say? In 1984, when you're pretending to have an intercept, there was no intercept. Nobody was warned about any of it. So the mind struggle, the heart struggle, the grueling spiritual struggle that is visible in my corpus needs to be used judiciously if you're going to use it under fair use principles.